Hello, my fellow skateboarders, longboarders, and freelance skaters. This is Srinivasan, a fine art photographer, a distance skater, and as I said, I'm a small time freelance skater as well. But this is only for the people who are coming to my video for the very first time. So, welcome you all for this interview. Vanakkam. Who we have here is an wonderful talent. He's a timber technologist, a distance skater, a multifaceted talent, to be precise. I mean, the list is long, okay? The list is going to start from his age 4 and goes up to present time, okay? Few of them also stuck with up until even today. So here goes his hobbies or skills or super talents. He has learned 7 types of ball sports at very young age. He has learned 6 styles of dances at his very young age. Learned up to 6 styles of martial arts at his very young age. He knows how to do yo-yo. He can do speed cubing, Rubik cubes. That's what I'm talking about. He can do beatboxing. He can do juggling. He can do unicycling. He can do magic. He can breathe fire, literally breathe fire. I've seen the photographs myself. And he is into skateboarding, street and park style, and he can do longboarding. He has given much interest in downhill skateboarding as well, and he is capable of designing downhill skateboards, deck, and he is into distance skating as well. So, what I can say, he's a bundle of talent. That much I can tell you. And let me take a breath for a second because he's only 24. So that is amazing. He has been using his time to explore everything that is available in the world, to understand, to try different things, what suits for him and all that. So ladies and gentlemen, I welcome Mr. Paul McMahon, for this interview. Welcome, sir. Vanakkam.
Thanks for having me, Christian, and I'd like to say to everyone watching, but yeah, it's a real honor for you to want to interview me. I really couldn't believe it, but yeah, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, sir. It's my honor, definitely, because like you're such a talent. So it'll be like ill for me to miss you out. To talk to you. You know. So, sir, by this time, who were watching my video, would have already figured it out, like what my question is going to be. So, I have said my perception of, your talents and what are you and everything. But it's better to hear it from you itself. Like tell about yourself.
Um, yeah, so at the moment, my degree that I did was in timber product technology,
Mm-hmm.
which is an array of woodworking skills like joinery, cabinet making,
Mm-hmm.
wood machining,
Mm-hmm.
CNC work, and CAD drawing, and all those types of things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's like my degree, and then yeah, my hobbies are skating. At the moment, skating like downhill, free riding, bowl park style,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously distance skating.
Mm-hmm.
Then the other things I do at the moment would be like yo-yo, juggling, circus arts,
Mm-hmm.
and beatboxing is currently the things that I do. And obviously, like because of the skating, I build boards at the moment as well. So
Awesome. Awesome. I do remember you had some a gag with the circus today, right? Uh, you were
I know
performing.
tomorrow I have training.
Oh, you have training tomorrow. That's awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Uh, so I got to compliment your hair and your cool studs on the ears.
Well,
Is there any story behind it, or like does this have any inspirations or reference to distance skating, or like you have any, it is involved with any particular culture or faith? Please, let us know if you could.
So I have the stretchers, the ears, piercings, longer than the hair.
Uh huh.
So how I got into circus and stuff like that was I'm an avid reader and collector of the Guinness World Book of Records and the
Oh,
Ripley's Believe It or Not.
ah, that's awesome.
So I was always interested in like these strange people doing amazing things.
Uh huh.
So like an inspiration for me was Eric the Lizard Man Sprague. He's covered in tattoos to look like a lizard, and he has a
Yeah,
split tongue and all this stuff.
yeah.
There,
I
I
saw a
met
photograph
him.
of yours. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So because of people like that that have like tattoos and body modification, and they're in like the circus community and stuff like that, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like in the history of like sideshow in circus and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
that I decided to get my ears stretched. Um,
Mm-hmm.
they're 25 millimeters at the moment,
Oh,
2.5 centimeters.
oh, okay, okay, okay.
Um, and my hair is same. It's to do with circus and circus arts. When I did circus arts at home,
Mm-hmm.
and since I was a kid, my dad brought me to this festival or competition. Yes, my dad would bring me to the World Street Performers Championships every year. But my mom is also the person who would drive me to all of my hobbies and activities, to dance classes, to ball sport classes, to martial art classes. So yeah, she deserves some praise as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the World Street Performers Championships, and
Mm-hmm.
they
Mm-hmm.
invite performers from around the world. So I've gone to watch them as a kid,
Mm-hmm.
every year,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I got into circus hobbies, like I could ride a unicycle and yo-yo and do magic.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I brought all of my things to this festival, and there was a community circus that set up a circus tent, and they were teaching adults and children like workshops on how to juggle, walk on stilts, like basic Diablo and stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I came with all of the circus things I did, and I was like a part of the community, and this is how I got into circus. But from that day and the trainings that we go to
Mm-hmm.
growing up, I seen many people with dreadlocks, and to me, I liked it. It was cool. Saying there was people with like body modification, like piercings and tattoos and stuff like that. But yeah, it was just because of circus, and like they're the community I felt most at home with. So this is how the hair and the ear style came about.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Actually, they are very inclusive. I understand. Uh,
Yeah,
cool.
they're very, very welcoming of anybody.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I could see that in you. Actually, you've been very friendly. You've been very compassionate with a complete stranger like me. Uh, been very patient. That's a rare quality in an youngster that I would cherish all the time. So, sir, I understand from your photographs that you can do beatboxing, and you've been into beatboxing competitions, battles, and everything. So, does
Yeah.
that character of being competitive has any relevance for you to getting into racing lately?
So yeah, with the beatboxing, I've competed in I think three Irish championships.
Wow.
Um, the most recent being 2022. It happened in December,
Mm-hmm.
and I reached the top eight. I reached the quarterfinals.
That's great.
And yeah, I think I could have done maybe top four, but we'll see for the next year. But I'm happy with getting into the battles for like into like quarterfinals, semifinals, all this.
Okay.
Um, but a big one was in April of last year. There is a theater performance run by it's done by beatboxers,
Mm-hmm.
and they're beatboxers, singers, musicians, spoken word, poets,
Mm-hmm.
and rappers and stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
they did a theater performance that was entirely a cappella, so it's all just
Oh,
beatboxing, spoken word, theatrical performance, and
that's
when they came
incredible.
over, the opportunity of performing with them in one of their performances.
That's awesome. I love a cappella actually. vocal harmonies.
Yeah,
That's yeah, I do.
I love acapella groups as well.
Yeah. I'm not a performer, but yeah, I do love them. Pen Masala is
Yeah,
my
me.
favorite. Yeah. Uh,
Oh,
cool. They're in
um,
US. Yeah. Yeah. You were saying?
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were saying something?
Um, yeah, so it's not really the beatboxing battles that got the competitiveness in me for racing.
Okay.
It was the martial arts. I competed in martial arts competitions. I've won four Ireland national championships,
Wow.
um, and I came fourth in a European championship in 2013. But
Oh.
um, when I stopped doing karate, the club or the dojo that I trained with, they closed down.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried other martial arts and stuff like that to see if I could continue. But
Mm-hmm.
this one place was like a family to me. These were the people I trained with, I grew up with. So
Oh.
anything else I tried was never the same.
Uh-huh.
Um, so for the years after that, I think I had a longing for competitive things and to
Oh.
challenge myself against others and see how I compare and stuff like that. And this
Okay.
is where my competitiveness in distance skating comes from.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool, sir. So, you started your longboarding around 2012, and got into downhill skating by 2013. And can you please share about your early days of distance skating?
Um, So yeah, I skated street in skate parks from 2009 to 2012, and I had
Mm-hmm.
more fun going fast down the
Mm-hmm.
ramps than actually like trying tricks.
Mm-hmm.
So I seen longboard videos on YouTube
Mm-hmm.
of like downhill and stuff like that, and thought it was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I was on a holiday in Spain, and I got my first longboard.
Mm-hmm.
And when I came I cruised around for about a year, and then there is a hill near me, Hoth, and I went there, and I went down and instantly got speed wobbles and had to run off the board. But the
Oh,
adrenaline, I didn't fall, I just ran. I could catch myself,
okay.
but just the feeling of going fast on a board, this
Yeah.
adrenaline got me,
Viking
and
spirit. Yeah.
nice. Yeah, so I wanted to get into downhill,
Mm-hmm.
and then from going into the city center to hang out with friends, we would go to like there's a few small parks around the city,
Mm-hmm.
and we would hang out, and there I met other longboarders,
Oh.
um, and they told me about Dublin Longboard Crew, which is a Facebook group,
Oh.
and they run meetups and stuff like that, but it's mainly for downhill now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is how I got into downhilling. Was through them. They were running races,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, they a few of the guys, they're friends with my friends now,
Oh.
for years. But they were sponsored by a local company,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, yeah, they had boards made for them. So I was doing technical graphics in school. I was in secondary,
Oh.
and I could design my own board and ask them to make it.
Okay.
And that was my board for
Down.
downhill
Cool.
skating.
Cool.
Um,
And
and
just
the guy who owns that company, well, used to, the company is no more. He was a distance skater for he did
oh.
treks
Oh.
for charity.
Cool.
So that's how I got into distance skating from downhill. Was through this company from design boards.
Oh, cool. Cool. What was his name?
Jeff Logan, and
Cool.
the company was touched. So I designed that first board
Mm-hmm.
for them, well, for me, and
Oh.
they built it for me.
Oh.
And then the second board that I designed, they really liked, and
Mm.
that's how I started working for the company. It's actually this board. So this is the board that got me into like designing boards for
Oh, that's
longboard companies.
cool.
It's very old school design.
Rocker.
And there was
Yeah.
a touched logo,
Yeah.
touched longboard.
Cool. Cool.
And yeah, this was the downhill board that got me.
Yeah.
into that company, and then got me in. Jeff got me into distance skating.
Super cool, sir. I actually read your photograph which had the newspaper article, and only then I
Oh yeah,
came to know about your interview and all that, and I learned your superior, Mr. Jeff, had done 1100 kilometers in 2 weeks for charity for distance with
yeah,
the distance skating and everything. What is your learning from that? You said you got inspired from Jeff.
yeah. So this was the first big trek that I had ever like seen.
Mm-hmm.
After this, I looked into longboard treks, and I seen Paul Kent with the loaded boards doing their treks and stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
But Um, yeah, Jeff did it for charity. It's in the UK. You have it's a famous route. You go from the most south westerly point to the most northeasterly point.
Okay.
So you go a diagonal the longest way
Mm-hmm.
across the UK.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, his plan was to do 1,100 kilometers in 11 days.
Oh.
It ended up taking 2 weeks.
Oh.
He raised the money for charity. Still finished the. It was great. But yeah, what I learned from it was that seeing him like people can skate 100 kilometers in a day, rest and sleep, and get up and skate another 100 kilometers the next day.
Oh.
It was like how you could actually achieve these distances just on a board.
That's awesome.
Um, so yeah, that was one thing I learned from it was just to see how far people could go. You can skate like 100 kilometers in like 8 to 10 hours or something like this.
Okay.
Um,
And do that
but another
again.
Yeah, and do it again.
Wow.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, but the other thing, and a really important thing I learned from it as well is you can be as like physically fit as you want,
Mm-hmm.
but it is a mental battle as well.
Oh.
If depending on like how long you've been skating, what conditions, the roads, like the weather,
Mm-hmm.
um, you can it like yeah you don't want to skate it through horrible conditions for another 50 kilometers or something. So yeah, that's how it took 14 days for Jeff to do it, just because it was a very tough battle in the UK. Did not have good roads or good weather.
Uh-huh.
um, so yeah, I really learned that it's as much a mental battle as it is a physical battle.
Cool, cool. That's awesome. Jeff is very inspiring, actual. So,
Yeah,
yeah. By 2015 or so, you are into many things, and you also almost got into distance skating as well. And
yeah,
please tell us about your other experiences which helped you with distance skating, uh,
yeah.
other than Jeff
um,
and your company and stuff. What else kind of inspired you more into distance skating?
so how I trained, like how I did distance skating before I knew it was distance skating
Uh,
was, as I said, I found longboarders in these parks in the city center,
uh-huh.
and people would be hanging out, like sitting in the park, and I always hung out with people. They always were older than me, so I
Mm-hmm.
would be like 14, 15, and I would be hanging around with people who were maybe 16 to 20.
Wow.
But yeah, I'd get bored, or a few of us would get bored sitting there, and it's just like, oh, we'll skate like 5 laps around the park and then come back to sit down. And I was keeping up with like 20-year-olds and stuff like that as kids. So I guess this is where it originates.
Oh, cool.
Uh, and then in 2015, John Dallas. He's the brother of the guy who owns and founded Bustin' Boards.
Oh, okay.
Right? His brother, John Dallas. He hosted the first. He lives in Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
He lived. I'm not sure if he still does. He may. He might still be here. I haven't had contact for a while, but
Mm-hmm.
he lived here, and he ran the South Dublin skate race. It was the first push event
Oh,
in Ireland, and
oh,
it was 10.1 kilometers
wow.
from Dunleary, which is like a coastal town,
Mm-hmm.
to city centre, to Grand
Cool,
Canal Dock.
cool.
Um, and yeah, so I seen that, and I wanted to do the race. So I met John, and there was three other people there, so there was five of us doing this push race. And yeah, the first board that I got custom made as my downhill board was kind of like an Evo, so it was very low but
Mm-hmm.
heavy, stiff.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what I used as this for the push race because I didn't have a push board, like a proper push board yet.
Yeah.
Um,
I understand.
so yeah, so I used this, and yeah, I was 16, and I ended up winning the race
Wow.
against John and the other adults and stuff.
Wow.
John was pretty fast. I think I did it in 24 25 minutes or something for 10 kilometers, and he did
Wow.
26 minutes. He was like 1 or 2 minutes behind. Just
That's
quite, it was quite
amazing.
fun.
That's amazing.
Um, so yeah, that was when like the competitive like distance skating was, that was my first race and why I wanted to get into it. So I looked into it more and found Andrew Andras's world record, the Miami Ultra Skate
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And yeah, I seen it, and it was like, I think at the time it was 260 or 274 miles. It was one of those like after the he broke the 250-mile barrier, but before the 300,
Mm-hmm.
somewhere. And yeah, I was like, I think I could skate. 24 hours is a long time. I think I could skate 250 miles
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
24 hours. So yeah, that's where I found ultra and stuff. But then another Dublin push race that was put on, because there's only been two.
Cool.
Um, was in 2018. A friend of mine, I grew up, he street skates.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very big street skater in the Irish community.
Mm-hmm.
He runs Skate School Dublin, teaching kids how to skateboard and skate
Awesome.
parks and stuff.
Awesome.
But he ran a skate against suicide, so for charity,
Oh,
um, for suicide prevention.
that's awesome.
So it was a 5 kilometer skate along the coast. There's a cycle lane that is 10 kilometers long. So we did half. We went from a famous park in Dublin to Fairview Skate Park, which is at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
cycle lane.
Mm-hmm.
So this one was for charity, and I was on a bracket board LDP setup, and there was a few long borders, but like most people were on street setups and stuff like that.
Yeah, I understand.
So I won that as well, but it wasn't to win. It was, I wanted to support Evan and his skate against suicide. So yeah, it was great, and they had a skate jam in the skate park afterwards, and people won prizes for best trick and stuff. It was great.
Cool. That's cool. That's cool. Dublin. Nice. I thought UK was into cycling, but there was quite a lot of distance skating activities happening out there. That's really,
Oh really?
that's awesome. That's awesome.
There's a few people I've met, Malin and Ken Cocker at the Dutch Ultra. They're the like a few UK people that in the LDP scene that I've met.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, a few quick questions. Do you prefer to pump or push?
I'm a pusher at
Cool.
heart. I'm a pusher, but I can pump, I would say, pretty efficiently now. But it's not my main thing. I push. Yeah,
Okay. Are you a goofy or a regular?
I'm goofy.
Okay. Can you do switch push?
Yeah, I do Mongo, so my front foot in Goofy, and
Mm-hmm.
then I'm for the past I think year or so I'm learning to switch push, so in regular and switch push.
Cool, cool. Can you do longboard dancing?
Um, the basics, maybe like two or three things.
Okay.
I can do cross steps and
Oh,
like
Peter
a
Pan.
tiger.
Okay. Okay.
But I've tried on Peter Pans, and they're very difficult
I
to get
understand.
the carve to go with your steps. I can do
Yeah.
the steps, but it looks very not nice. It's not flowy,
Okay.
not like dance.
Uh, yeah. But actually, you can do it. That much I can tell you. You know, like I just by your talent, I could tell you that you can easily get it. You know. So.
Yes, it's just not the kind of skating I got too much into.
Okay.
Um, I did a little bit of everything, but what my interests have stuck, you know.
Cool. That's cool. So, keeping all that aside, you know, like, tell us about your life in Dublin.
So yeah, I guess when I'm not working,
Mm-hmm.
I try to hang out with friends as much as possible. I use my skateboard, my long distance push board,
Mm-hmm.
my bracket as my main mode of transport.
Mm-hmm.
I'm lucky enough. I live on the coast. At
Mm-hmm.
the very end of this coastal cycle lane, I said this the charity race was on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it is off the road. It is a promenade along the coast that runs 10 kilometers straight into town, into
Mm-hmm.
the city center. So I have this at my disposal. So I skate in and out all the time. When I had college, and it was in the city center, skating in and out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I go to circus training on Tuesdays, and it's
Mm-hmm.
a bit more often the summers. We can do it outdoors in the parks because of the nice weather, whereas during the winter we have like an indoor space.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then yeah, on the weekends I go downhill skating with my downhill friends, and yeah, that's kind of what I get up to. I try and use my time as much as possible. If I'm at home, I'm yeah, juggling or yo-yoing and stuff like that. I don't like I don't know. I can't sit still. I don't like wasting time, or I don't watch much TV.
Oh,
Or,
that's
you know,
interesting. Me too.
yeah,
Cool. Actually, it's very inspiring, like how you build your life around the things that you actually love to do. Not many
yeah.
people actually can find it or get to do this, but you are awesome. That's awesome. So,
Yeah, the distance training works really well because the train is at the bottom of my road, the train station,
mm-hmm.
and it's 30 minutes to get into town.
Uh huh.
But it also takes me 30 minutes with headwind, but without headwind,
Uh huh.
I can get the same 10 kilometers into town
Oh,
faster on my distance board.
that's awesome.
Um,
That's awesome.
so yeah, it's nice. I try to get out to yeah skate nice cycle lanes. I look up like people know I'm a cycle lane chaser. My friends trying to find nice cycle lanes or and nice parks with
Oh.
smooth pavement or some hills in the parks and stuff. So yeah, I just try to get out, go to parks, skate some nice cycle lanes, and meet friends and juggle and just yeah do activities.
Cool, cool, cool. So, may I ask, like, what is your board setup? Like, do you like top mount boards or like bracketed boards? How much do you have?
Specifically for distance skating.
Yeah.
At the moment, I have spare parts and like spare decks,
Mm-hmm.
that um, that I could use. They're just like the old boards from the local Irish company. Like I
Mm-hmm.
have the Evo. The back of it ended up breaking,
Mm-hmm.
and I chopped it and kept the drop, so it's now
Okay.
a zero rear with a flip door KP.
Okay, like this upsonic. Okay. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, kind of. And yeah, this is super heavy. It has W concave because it was
mm,
a downhill board,
yeah.
and it's just
Yeah.
like the random parts I've thrown together to have a backup
Okay.
LDP setup.
Okay.
But as my main LDP setup, I have a Melanin CAC,
Cool.
MK longboard, Procyon Speed in my colors, orange and purple.
Cool.
With yeah, I have it here.
No issues. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's one awesome looking board.
yeah, the Melon Cactus on speed. I run it with a carbon G-bomb bracket
Mm-hmm.
with a Don't Trip DH Sibin.
Mm-hmm.
I know people don't usually use this one for long distance, but I really love it because you can get it in the smaller width.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a nice custom purple for my colors.
Cool.
And I run a TTS, a torsion tail steel
Mm-hmm.
slim, the
Mm-hmm.
TTS slim in the back,
Cool.
with alphas, seismic alphas.
Okay. Bearings?
Um, for for 9 years now, I've run Tectons, but
Okay.
they're out of stock and a bit more expensive. So I've recently just bought 4 sets of Zealous, which is
Okay.
kind of like the standard what everyone goes to. Built-in bearings that are really good and cheap, and
Okay.
they're less than €20 per set. So yeah, I'd recommend the Zealous just because they're cheaper and they're easier to acquire.
Cool, cool, cool. That's awesome. That's awesome. I was just talking to Lena. owner of Milan and Kak, and she was like, I mean, like wishing good for the interview and all that. Like so, uh, she has a very good goodwill on Mr. Paul as well. Like yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's-
That's
yeah.
I felt like I will share that with you. Thanks. Cool. So, sir, how did you train yourself? Like when you have decided yourself like that, I want to get into 24-hour race. So, what were your methods?
So normally, I try to skate. Well, I skate 10 to 15 kilometers every day. I make sure, and
Wow,
this is just my normal day-to-day routine. I skate 10 to 15 kilometers a day.
that's awesome.
So when I wanted to skate for when I wanted to train for the 24-hour event, I doubled my skating.
Wow,
So I did 20 to 40, 20 to 30 kilometers per day.
wow.
Um, yeah, I would skate the 10 kilometers into the city center, and I would hang out with friends,
Mm-hmm.
and I would stay out long enough that I would miss the last train and have to skate home.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't actually think about it this way, but like I stay up late anyway. Like I'd be I live on this cycle lane. I would be skating this cycle lane at 3, 4 a.m. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, I didn't think about it at the time, but I would skate in during the day, and then I'd be quite tired after the whole day, and then
Mm-hmm.
I would skate 10 kilometers back at night time at like two in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
It turned out to be good training for ultra because you skate throughout the night. So yeah, I didn't think of it like that. I just thought of the distance, it's just
Uh-huh.
extra distance,
Uh-huh.
but it's the yeah, nighttime skating works as well.
That's cool. That's cool. Actually, you kind
Yeah,
of blended your everyday activity along with your training. That's
yeah,
incredible.
exactly. And
That's
then
clever. Yeah.
um, leading up closer to the event,
Mm-hmm.
I did some big skates to increase my distance.
Mm-hmm.
So I did an eighth ultra,
Uh-huh.
so 3 hours of non-stop skating.
Wow.
And it was like a nice long. I'm a cycle lane hunter. I found like four sets of cycle lanes. This 10K one, then there's a
Mm-hmm.
5 kilometer one in town,
Mm-hmm.
and then there is another like 12 kilometer, 14 kilometer one out to the like it goes inland
Okay.
to the center towards the center of Ireland.
Okay.
So the whole route was 28 kilometers or something like this.
Mm-hmm.
So I went from the beginning up and back, and then had a spare 30 minutes. So skated then into the city center.
Mm-hmm.
So in 3 hours, I skated 66, just over 66 kilometers.
Oh, that's awesome.
This was my like first kind of longer trek.
Oh,
And yeah, the longest I did before this was probably like 45 or 50, something like this.
that's awesome.
Um, so yeah, the 66 um, the first big training session, and I didn't skate for 2 or 3 days after. I gave myself rest instead of skating every day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then a week before I flew to the Netherlands, but 2 weeks before the actual event,
Mm-hmm.
I skated Phoenix Park. It's a very famous park in the center of Dublin. It
Oh.
has a zoo and everything. You can go. There's deer living in it and stuff. It's a beautiful park.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's a loop, a pathway in
Oh.
the park that is a 10.1 kilometer loop.
Okay.
So I did a quarter ultra, which was 6 hours.
Oh.
And my goal was to skate 10 laps, which would be 100
Wow.
and 1 kilometers.
Yeah.
I said, if I can do this in 6 hours,
Uh-huh.
skate times four, like multiplied by four is 404
Yeah.
kilometers, which is 250 miles,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was my calculation for it to say I could skate 250 miles. And I ended up getting an extra lap in. So I skated 112.3
That's
kilometers.
incredible. That's
in
incredible.
6 hours at this park. I was accompanied by some friends, like not for the whole thing, but like a friend came after work and skated 2 or 3 laps with me, and then I was on my own for a while, and then one of my downhill friends, Mark Moore,
Mm-hmm.
he's also um, he likes pushing. He doesn't have a push setup. He's not a pusher, but he is a very, very strong pusher.
Ah,
So he did the last 4 or 5 laps with me. He skated about like 40, 45 kilometers with
wow.
me on that ultra.
That's
The
awesome.
6 yeah, in
That's
the park.
incredible training, actually. What's so
Yeah,
inspiring is like you've been doing this in the everyday life situation, wherein everything will be there on the regular life of Dublin. It's not a
yeah.
exclusive longboarding track for you. So
No,
that's
I skate my board everywhere, no matter
yeah,
what. If
that's
it's cobble,
incredible.
it's like I use it to get anywhere, no matter what the conditions as well. Like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
always
yeah. The
pouring
timing is
rain.
also amazing. 3 hours and 66 kilometers and 112 kilometers in 6 hours. That's incredible, actually. I got to really
Yeah.
appreciate your efforts. Yeah.
But once I did this 112,
Mm-hmm.
I did not skate until the ultra.
Ah, the
So yeah,
recovery time and
for a competition.
yeah.
So I normally skate 10 to 15 kilometers per day. So I
Mm-hmm.
went up gradually to 20 to 30, and
Mm-hmm.
then I did a 6 kilometer skate, and then I did 112.
Mm-hmm.
And then you don't want to do a full ultra to see what you can do because then you're dead, you know? So you
Mm-hmm.
want to make sure you can peak.
Mm-hmm.
So I did all the hard stuff and then spent 10 days, like 5 days here and 5 days in the Netherlands, just like chilling, hanging out,
That's
and
cool. That's cool.
sightseeing and stuff like that. Before, just so I was ready,
That's awesome.
and
That's awesome.
for the ultra.
That's awesome. The 6 hours of 112 kilometers ride, was it on a daytime or in a night time?
It was daytime. It was like
Okay.
afternoon at 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. So
Okay,
yeah,
cool, cool. Thank you, thank you. Sure. Let's move a little bit away from the distance skating. I would like to know about your, circus hobbies like yo-yo, juggling, fire breathing, magic, and stuff like that. Unicycling, etc. Please throw some light
yeah.
on that.
With the unicycling, it was yeah. I got into circus. I wanted to learn to unicycle, but this was before I got into distance skating. It was I learned to unicycle in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a street skateboard, but I did not use it for transport.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned to unicycle, and then I unicycled to and from school every day with my
Mm-hmm.
backpack, my school
Wow.
bag.
Wow.
So and then I would bring it to the skate park if I was going to the skate park and try and do like pedal grinds. I can like bunny hop 180 on a
Wow.
unicycle.
Wow.
Uh, yeah, just try and cross the two together. Why not? But yeah, I used my unicycle mainly for getting around.
Uh,
Yeah, I can dribble on the unicycle as well.
oh,
Um,
cool.
yeah, yeah. So that's where that the unicycle comes from, and then um, it's actually skating and yo-yo are the hobbies I've done for the longest.
Oh,
So yo-yos, yeah, is one of my favorite things to do. I've yo-yoed since 2010, so like 13 years now.
wow.
Um, so yeah, yeah. As I said, I can't sit still. I always need my hands doing something. I have very flexible fingers, so that's where like the speed cubing and yo-yoing,
Mm-hmm.
it's just all to do with fingers and hands.
Mm-hmm.
So this is same with magic. It was sleight of hand and
Yeah,
cardistry.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I've weird bendy fingers, so I just had to keep them busy.
Cool,
Um,
cool.
but yeah, yo-yoing I found in school. We were on a school trip. I went to an all-Irish school, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm fluent in Irish. I went to an all-Irish play school, primary and secondary.
Mm-hmm.
In primary school, we go to an island in Inisheer. It's like a group of islands that are in islands, and
Mm-hmm.
Inisheer is the smallest one.
Mm-hmm.
So we go there. They only speak Irish, and it's
Oh,
to improve our Irish.
oh,
So we live with families, and we go to school there for 2 weeks and stuff. And we just live on the island. But
nice.
the island is 2 miles squared or 3.2 kilometers squared. So there's one shop, one playground, and one hall, the city hall for people to go and like
Cool.
yeah. There's not much to do there, and a
Uh,
friend of mine had a yo-yo, and we all thought it was really cool. So we like, wrote letters to our parents to be like, send us yo-yos, it's something to do. And yeah, that's how we started yo-yoing. Brought it back to school
mm-hmm.
during lunchtime. At some point, like a year down the line, there was like 150 kids instead of running around playing, just standing yo-yoing at lunchtime.
Cool.
But I was like the only person to continue after school
Oh,
and bring it to this kind of level of yo-yo performance and stuff. There's not many. There's I know of maybe five or six people that yo-yo as a hobby for years now, and they enjoy. Yeah, there's like me and one other guy I think that do yo-yo performances at circus in Ireland.
cool. That's awesome. That's awesome, actually. Have you heard of something called kendama, a Japanese?
I have one. Yeah, I do this as well. Yeah,
Ah,
yeah.
I knew it. I knew it.
There's so many things I forget too many, man. I did parkour because I did martial
Oh,
arts and breakdancing.
oh.
Like there's so many hobbies. I have flower sticks. You have two sticks and a
Yeah,
stick in the
yeah,
middle.
yeah, yeah.
Like plate spinning, like kendama, like there's yeah, everything.
That's cool.
Uh,
That's super cool, actually.
and then with juggling, yeah, I've been juggling since about 2013.
Mm-hmm.
But I seriously got into it. I think it was 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I seriously got into it, and like I juggled for 3 to 6 hours every day for
Wow.
3 months straight.
Wow.
I went from juggling four balls
Mm-hmm.
to having being able to do 100 catches of five, and
Mm-hmm.
being able to juggle six
Mm-hmm.
and flash seven. A flash is one throw and one catch of all, so it's not full juggling, but you
Mm-hmm.
can do it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then catch them
Oh,
all. And
oh.
yeah, my goal is to reach 9 ball juggling is
Wow.
my goal. So yeah, I can juggle 7 balls now.
Uh-huh.
I have just flashed eight. So
Wow.
I'm on eight at the moment, and I'm trying to get
That's
to nine. But
incredible.
yeah, working on eight at the moment.
Cool.
7 and 8 ball
Cool.
juggling.
Cool. I happened to interview one Mr. Tim Birchwoer. He is from Netherlands as well, and he could do yo-yo
Right.
and the thing. So, what I wanted to ask is like how your these kind of skills helped you in a Dutch alto skate, as in like you had your girlfriend or your somebody help you,
Yeah, my girlfriend.
yeah, handing over the water or your whatever energy drinks or something. Does that help you to balance on the board, grab it from one hand, drink it on the go, balancing while you are balancing on the board and everything? I know it's a race
Yeah, I
environment.
definitely
It's
think
pretty
so.
fast, actually.
Yeah, for hand-eye coordination and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I met Tim at the Dutch Ultra, and I'm in
Uh-huh.
a group chat with him.
Uh-huh.
And I did not know until your interview when I seen the clip, the video of him doing Diablo,
Uh,
and that he also does circus props.
yeah.
And then he commented on one of my yo-yo tricks on Instagram saying
Uh,
that he does Diablo. So it's cool seeing another person do circus props in the LDP community. It's
oh,
nice.
nice, nice,
um,
nice. Yeah, please.
yeah, definitely hand-eye coordination. It
Yeah.
helps. Like, I always skate with a backpack on.
Mm-hmm.
I would like throw my backpack around to the front, and I
Oh.
unzip and like take stuff from the front of my bag and stuff
Oh,
like that.
that
Um,
takes a lot of
yeah,
concentration. Yeah.
for ultra, Nicole would pass me drinks and stuff like that, but I still had a backpack to have two drinks in. And
Oh,
then when I needed, I wouldn't hold them. And then when I needed to drink, I would swing the bag around and take one out.
wow.
But the passing and stuff like that, yeah, you need some good hand-eye coordination because,
Wow.
yeah, I was going probably like 20 kilometers per hour for
That's
laps
fast. Yeah.
on
Yeah.
Georgia. So like to go past and aim to see where her hand is and where mine
Exactly.
is, and
Exactly.
specifically to grab at the right time because you could
Yeah.
just hit the bottle out of her hand and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
For the IDSA virtual races,
Mm-hmm.
there was the 100 kilometer.
Mm-hmm.
I found a cycling track like Dutch Ultra in Ireland, in Dublin. So
Mm-hmm.
this is what I do my virtual races on.
Oh.
But for the 100 kilometers, I hold my phone. I don't have a GPS watch.
Mm-hmm.
I just hold my phone for the 100 kilometers. And
Mm-hmm.
at one point, I was checking, and it was windy. I
Mm-hmm.
was going against the wind, and
Mm-hmm.
I went to put my phone back in my pocket.
Mm-hmm.
My hand did, but the phone didn't, and the
Oh.
wind caught the phone, and the phone blew up to like here. And
Wow.
while skating, I had to turn around and try and grab the phone, and it didn't hit the ground. I was amazed how I
Oh.
caught it. I caught the phone in midair and
Reflex.
completing my 100 kilometer attempt.
That's incredible reflex. That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that specific moment, I didn't think of it much at Ultra,
Mm-hmm.
but in that moment on my 100K, I was like, I'm glad I'm a juggler, you know?
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, kindly share us your complete experience with Dutch Ultra Skate 2022.